Oh, welcome everybody to the Streakers On podcast. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst. We all know we got out of our sports talk with the analyst, and I'm joined by the usual suspects, Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco and Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
We have an action-packed show. We're going to talk about Thursday night football, or as I like to call it this week, Thursday night nap time, because the game sucked. We're going to preview the next week in the Canadian Football League, as we have some games that mean a lot to the standings. The Jays. Kevin Gausman decides that he's not coming out of a game and puts on a pretty impressive performance. We're going to preview the rest of the NFL on Sunday and a brand new Streakers speed run and so much more. But let's jump right in to the Thursday night football. And so here are my main notes from this game. I think Micah Parsons was the missing piece for the Packers to actually be a contender. I was
going to use that as a gas, but okay.
And I am concerned about Washington's offense.
Yeah.
Really?
2 straight week with Jaden Daniels just putting up okay numbers.
I think he's hitting a sophomore slump a year late, you know?
Well, the problem is I don't even know if it's Jaden Daniels or he just has no weapons besides Debo Smith.
True.
And even Debo's not what he was a couple years ago, right? So I think maybe if you're Washington, you're not as desperate as the Chiefs, as they have like nobody now. Yeah. But you certainly need to get. I think
you have Taylor Swift.
Yeah, okay. I think you need to get Jaden Daniels some weapons and maybe an O-line that can actually protect him. Because Lane, I don't know if you agreed with me, but I thought Daniels was scrambling all night.
Yeah, he was really under pressure, but I'm not worried. Actually, like I said, I'm a big Jaden Daniels fan. I love this kid. I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to figure it out. I think they did real well week 1. They ran into Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons just brings a whole nother level to this game, right? Green Bay looks like this team is serious this year. I think this is a Super Bowl contender, so I could see why they struggle. But, I mean, he still played pretty good. I'm not too worried. They had a bad game tonight. Maybe their running game's a little concerning because they don't have the best running back. But I think pass-wise, I think they're fine. But their defense, I think, needs to be a little bit sharper, though.
Well, yeah, but I still think, though, Jaden Daniels, if he wants to be that franchise quarterback, he's got to find a way to make a play in this game. But I'm also going to go a little bit more on the coaching staff because I felt they were trying to stretch the field a bit too much in the third quarter when they didn't need to. Then in the fourth, they're taking all these little chip shots when they just got to go score points. But Dan, you mentioned you think Daniels is having his sophomore slump potentially just a year late. So you're maybe hitting the panic button a little more than Lane.
Well, I'm not hitting a panic button yet because at the end of the day, Washington's still 1-1, which is not terrible for 2 weeks of football. They did win their first game last week, and they did come back in the fourth quarter to make the score a little more interesting. If the second half was as bad as the first half, I think at one point in the second quarter, they said Daniels had 2 yards of passing. Let's say he finished the first half with 5 yards of passing and the second half with like 10 or 15, then I'll be hitting the panic button, but it's not the case. He did step it up towards the end of the game. I do agree with you, Jacob. The coaching I found very strange. Like, you look at it, it suggests success of Buffalo Bills. Now, we haven't seen week 2 yet, but okay, success of week 1. And they weren't Josh Allen, even though he's capable of bombing the ball 50, 60 yards. He was doing little tip 10, 15-yard shots. And I think if Washington did that from the beginning and not at the fourth quarter, I think it could have been a different game. But you saw a situation in the third quarter where it was like 3 and 4, and he bombed it down like 40 yards, and the receiver missed. I'm like, well, that's just a waste of a third down play. This doesn't make any sense to me.
It also doesn't help, talking about special teams, and this is something – again, you look at it later. At the time, you don't really notice it. But, Matt Graham was just 2 field goals. Another 6 points there, 27-24 game.
It's a different game. Maybe you're not trying to stretch the field as much if you're only down 3 or 4.
So, take away those 2 field goal kicks. You add those to your score. That's just, so that makes a big difference considering, Brandon McManus at least made another field goal. he went 2 for 3, only missed up on 3 points. But still, there's that extra 3 points. Even at worst, you're down 21-27. It still doesn't look as bad as it does right now.
Now I got to say though, for Jaden Daniels, a lot of that yardage at the end, I would argue it was garbage.
Probably garbage time. Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Which is another problem. Truthfully, I know I've said it once. I'll say it again. It's my big problem with the NFL. I think the way it's structured, games are ending too early, which I do think is an issue. But I mean, as long as fans are getting butts in seats, drinking an obsessive amount of beer, and watching it all at home, nobody really cares, right? But I do think they need to try to improve the flow of the game a bit more. But I will say this, though, legitimately, I think the Packers, with Jordan Love as a good quarterback, I saw TSN asking if you can compare him to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to say right off the hop and say, no, he's not that good, but he's good. He is like a tier 2 quarterback. He's just not quite in the Josh Allen conversation. But when you have a tier 2 quarterback with a tier 1 defense, and I'm going to say a tier 1 running back in Josh Jacobs, all of a sudden you have a team that's very dangerous.
For sure.
And Jordan Love's still pretty young. He's just going to keep getting better.
And like I said, I still think this team does need that. I still said I'm waiting for that receiver, man. I'm waiting for halfway through the season. I'm waiting for that. Who?
Diggs.
Diggs is on
Green Bay.
No, he's on the Patriots.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
I was like,
today the big receiver was their tight end and Tucker Kraft.
I like that guy.
I like him too.
124 yards and a touchdown. And maybe that's where this offense goes. Maybe this is kind of more like, this is more of a tight end ran through offense than a wide receiver. Maybe it's
like the olden days with Bubba Franks. I remember Brett Favre and Bubba Franks were the I remember, I don't know why, for some reason, when I was a kid, that was my team. I always played with the Packers, and I always hit a hitcher up to Bubba Franks. I'm like, this guy's amazing. That guy was so good.
But Favre was quite a player back in the day.
But at the end of the day, right now, you have a Packers team that's 2-0 again, going against two very good clubs in the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders. It's not like they're 2-0 against the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots.
Right.
They're 2-0 versus, I will say this, teams. I feel Super Bowl caliber teams, right? And that's impressive. So you're seeing of Green Bay, if they can get good enough quarterback play, and this defense can just, they really kept Jaden Daniels in check all game. And didn't matter if you single teamed or triple teamed Micah Parsons, he was getting through.
He's the
missing piece.
He's crazy.
I swear, he is the missing piece that the Packers have desperately needed.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good.
And when you talk about the Packers needing another receiver, I think it's more the Commanders. I think the Commanders just need someone else that
I agree with that. Yeah.
That Jaden Daniels can just lob a pass up to and he'll just go get it.
Like someone who can catch a 50-50 ball.
I don't know who that is. Like, just straight up. I don't know. I think right now, I doubt there's going to be anyone available.
Call up Terrell Owens. They're coming out of retirement.
Oh, good Lord. No.
The only guy I can think of is on the Steelers, and I'm surprised Aaron Rodgers has that. DK Metcalf. He's a good 50-50 ball getter.
Well, and that would just depend how the Steelers, it would really big.
But I'm telling you, Tyreek.
Will Aaron Rodgers play the way he played against other teams that he's not angry at? Because he even admitted he wanted that game more than anything else.
Well, he will against Green Bay.
Now, I don't think he would get traded, but a few guys I would be looking into, Malik Neighbors would be huge. He's just so underrated on such a bad team. Another guy, and I feel like it's coming any day, is Tyreek Hill, man. That guy wants out. That's a guy you add to your team.
The problem is, do you add him to your team? He's got an attitude problem.
Yeah, but he catches
No. You just got rid of an attitude problem in Stephon Diggs. You don't bring in a worse attitude problem in Tyreek Hill.
Then I'm telling you, in the playoff game, in a playoff game, you need that big baller.
No, you don't.
Will have that swagger to get the job done.
No, you don't.
That's why the Bills haven't got the job done the last couple of years.
Well, then why did they not get it done when Stephon Diggs was there?
Because Cook wasn't at the level he was at, and Allen's not at the level he was at. Now that Cook and Allen
you can't have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, a tier 2 running back, a good defense, and one of the best receivers in the league. It's a salary cap world. And if you're telling me you have to sacrifice in an area, and the Bills have decided they're not going to sacrifice a quarterback, because Josh Allen is arguably the best quarterback in the league. I'm saying arguably because Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, and as much as he had a bit of an off week one, I'm still going to say Joe Burrow. Those are these tier one guys.
I would say Jordan Love's
you
pretty
just
close
paid
to that
James
tier
Cook
one.
to be your tier one running back, so you're not getting rid of him. This defense for the Bills, they can't take any more hits than what they've taken, because it's not a great defense. So you can't. It's a salary cap world. And I also think you have guys like Shakir, who's a very good receiver, and you have Coleman, who I think is ready to take that next step. So I really don't feel the Bills need to go out and get another
Coleman's
receiver.
a special player for sure.
No, I think the Bills, I said it at the beginning of the season, and I said it when we were talking NFL before the season started. Any team with Josh Allen on it has a chance to win a Super Bowl. You can put Josh Allen on the worst team in the NFL, and they now have a chance to win a Super Bowl. That is my opinion. I think Patrick Mahomes is that same caliber guy. I think Lamar Jackson is that same caliber guy. Maybe Jackson and Allen haven't necessarily got it done in the playoffs just yet. But at the end of the day, I mean, Josh Allen has played some pretty much perfect playoff games. But at the end of the day, they are guys that give you a chance every year. Like Jalen Hurts is a very good quarterback. But if you put him on the worst team in the league, they're not a Super Bowl caliber team. The Eagles are with everything else they have on top of it. No,
I think Hurts is very underrated.
You cannot compare Jalen Hurts to Josh Allen, besides they both put on football equipment.
No, but at the end of the day, Hurst finds a way to win.
At the end of the day, Jalen Hurts has a really good receiving core and the best running back in football.
Yeah,
I get that.
Like Saquon Barkley, he is one of those very few special running backs. I think you put him on any team, the team becomes a contender.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
I would say him and Christian McCaffrey are those only two running backs that you put them. I mean, a healthy Christian McCaffrey.
No, Derrick Henry.
Oh, Derrick Henry, 100%.
I don't know, man. Derrick Henry seems to fumble at the biggest moment.
That was one game, bro.
It was last year, too, in the playoffs. That game against the Bills, he didn't do much.
Yeah,
But yeah, sure, we can throw Derrick Henry in that conversation. I personally don't think he's as good as Saquon.
And I think depending on the year Cook has, you can throw him in that conversation.
You cannot compare James Cook to Saquon Barkley.
No.
Not now, but maybe in a year or two.
That is like me comparing Connor McDavid to Connor Bedard.
I'm just saying in a year or two, I think in a year or two, maybe you can compare Bedard to McDavid.
No, you can't.
Not now, obviously, because he's terrible. Sorry, bud, but you are. But on a better team with better line mates, sure, you could probably do similar things to McDavid.
You know what else is insane, though? Kevin frickin' Gausman. Let's head over to the Blue Jays for a little bit here. And I just want to get into the Kevin Gausman show, and then later on we'll look at the standings in the MLB and where the Jays sit. But the Jays needed a big series win against the... No, we have a gasser ass coming up with Mr. Dashko, Mr. Moore for.
Oh, okay.
But Kevin Gausman, I think, has just put the Jays management group on notice and the league that he is his team's ace.
Well,
I've been thinking he is their best pitcher. And this is no disrespect to anyone else they have, including Shane Bieber. But Kevin Gausman is your best starting pitcher. And
isn't that the first time since Roy Halladay that a starter from the Jays did 9 innings?
I'm not 100. No, but it hasn't.
Roy Halladay.
But even though they're a year apart, Kevin Gausman is the not only the pitcher to get the most recent complete game shutout, but it's also the pitcher to get the one before it, as he got it a year before. So he's technically gotten the last two complete game shutouts. Chris Bassett also did it in 2024. You see them every few years. I was actually looking into it. You see them go maybe one or two a year. Sometimes you see a 2 or 3 year gap, but you do get them at least maybe once or twice, then 1 or 2 years. You do see them. They're just not every year.
But I'm telling you right now, game 1 of the playoffs, Kevin Gausman's my guy.
I agree.
I think he's been their best pitcher consistently all year, and I think he's got to be your guy.
He really did step it up. If I'm for Jays, I'm going to pay as many parking tickets that it takes to keep him happy.
But one thing that scared me about Kevin Gausman, I was actually talking to a friend about it. I love the guy. I think he's fantastic, but there's just the only thing that scares me is you never know he's going to have a bad game, especially with that fastball splitter combo, right? Like,
For sure.
When they're chasing the splitter, he looks unstoppable and he looks like the man. And right now, he is the man. He's striking out guys left and right. He's been pitching 8 innings, 9 innings. And I'm glad. I love it. I love that guy. I think he's extremely talented. But what happens when they don't swing at the splitter, right? Like, he does have a bad game if they don't chase that splitter.
Well, I look at it. That is why you want a guy like Max Scherzer move to the bullpen. Because let's say Kevin Gausman's having an off night, and by the second inning, it's just not going to work. Then you put in Max Scherzer, who can go 4 or 5 innings, who's a veteran, who should be able to just step in and do the job.
Right.
But I think the Jays right now need to start looking at, because the chances of them not making the playoffs are slim to none. So they have to start looking at who is going to be their game 1 starter.
Oh, it's Gausman.
I think it's between Gausman and Bieber. And I think it's got to be Gausman just because he's been your guy for the last couple years.
It's funny with the Jays because they've been kind of, let's just be honest, in months of September so far and definitely August, they've been nothing but mediocre. But I think because they were so strong in July and June, we're definitely making the playoffs.
That's why you have months like that, right? Like, it's allowed them to be like this, right? It's allowed them to play mediocre, but you do get scared that it's like, even last night I was watching. I know we didn't do a show that day, but even last night I'm like sitting there, I'm like, man, the Jays seem like they're doing some things good, but then they tie the game and they have an opportunity to. Like, I was a little frustrated last night between you boys. I was a little mad at them because I'm sitting here watching the game. They're down 2-0 the entire game. They finally tied up. I'm like, again for the second game in a row where late game heroics. So I'm like, okay, almost lost again. Then they finally tied. I'm like, okay, let's turn this. The Yankees lost, the Red Sox lost. Let's get a huge game up on both teams. And then Hoffman comes up and gives up a solo shot in the ninth, in the top of the ninth. And I'm like, come on, man. Like,
but I'm gonna put a positive spin on this. They did win a series against a good.
They did.
They did, yeah.
Right? They won the series against the Astros. We'll get more into their next series and why this could be really, really important for the standings. But Lane has a gas their ass, and I have no idea what the heck he's going to do.
Well, boys, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's all over the internet. We have a commissioner of sports who has been in the highlights, and it's not Gary Bettman, shocker. It's not Roger Goodell, but it's the commissioner of the NBA, Mr. Adam Silver, as he was doing his press conference yesterday. And he was asked about, the NBA TV and all these subscriptions, and it's really high to watch NBA basketball. It's one of the highest subscription fees out of all the sports. So they went and asked him why it's so high. And he basically insulted the entire lower class and middle class by saying, well, if you can't afford it, just look up highlights on YouTube.
Ooh,
I have the entire quote here. He says,
wow.
He says in the quote here,
what?
There's a huge amount of our content that people can essentially consume for free. I mean this in like a highlights-based sport. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, any service, the New York Times for that matter, ensure your content's not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content there. YouTube's another example. So he's basically saying you can go on YouTube, look up the highlights if you can't afford it, and you'll still. And there's a lot of people saying like there's a lot of criticism. Alex from X just says, "Damn, he just said if you're broke, just follow the NBA via Twitter." Matt George, it's embarrassing from Adam Silver. After working years to make regular season games matter, you're basically saying they don't matter enough to watch other than the highlights. This comes off as telling us the price to a consumer. I don't care if you can't afford to. John Krasinski from The Office said, not a fan of this accessibility to games. Real games is a real issue for the league right now, both in ticket prices for what in purposes and what to watch from home. The way to cultivate a new generation of fans to make sure they can actually see the games in full.
So and also too, like, it's a weird statement for basketball because basketball has always been that sport that any income bracket can jump in and play, because it's not like hockey or football or golf where you need, I'm going to say, thousands of dollars to play the sport. Basketball has always been a sport that any income bracket can afford to enjoy. And they already can't afford to go to a game, because the games, now some areas the games are cheap, like in Phoenix, but no one wants to go watch the Phoenix Suns for some strange reason. But putting it behind the streaming services are becoming way too expensive. And if you remember, Dan would know this better than me. I said to Dan when streaming services were really blowing up about 5-6 years ago, I said, you watch, everyone's going to go to streaming service, then they're going to jack the prices up. And that's what's happening right now. Because you look, and even that's not just the NBA. Look at the NHL. If I'm going to stream, I need TSN Plus, Sportsnet Now, the NHL Super
Network.
Pack, and Amazon Prime to watch multiple hockey games. That's a lot of money.
Well, the other thing I just want to add to your comment there, Jacob, I don't know where the gas or ass part of this is, but it's interesting.
Well, gas is like, is he right or like?
Okay, well, I'm going to say ass. This guy is 100% wrong. But the other thing I just want to say to you, Jacob, I agree that basketball is a unique sport that makes it accessible to multiple incomes. And I agree it is challenging, like hockey, in a lower income bracket to get involved in it. But there are so many hockey players that made it work. You look at Sidney Crosby, for example. His parents, they weren't millionaires if they, like they weren't super poor, but they were just working class, right? And, Sidney Crosby had to deliver newspapers so that it can help pay for his hockey. And, Sidney Crosby was a Tim Hortons Timbit hockey player because they helped pay for him to start his hockey. So even if you're in the lower income bracket, there are systems and ways to help you get into the sport. But I do agree with basketball. It's like soccer, like baseball. It makes it one of the most accessible sports to get into. You just need a ball and a hoop, right?
Well, and basketball is a sport too. It's one of those very few ones you can even just work on it by yourself and really improve your game drastically. So it's a weird statement when you just look at the demographic of the NBA. And you're already getting a lot of backlash in basketball of what's going on in the WNBA. Now you're getting backlash about what your commissioner said in the NBA. Like, this just isn't a good look for basketball in a sport that I think is finally starting to grow, especially in Canada. It's been getting momentum, right? And let's be honest, too, I think the NBA may be in some trouble coming up because right now, besides of SGA, there's not really when LeBron James and Steph Curry retire, I don't know if there's going to be players that are worth the price of admission anymore. And that's my concern in the NBA. Like, you look at Ovechkin and Crosby for a prime example in the NHL. We all know they're close to retiring. But now we have McDavid and Matthews, right? They have became the new Crosby and Ovechkin kind of comparable.
Well, say with football, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
It's the new Tom Brady and Peyton
Manning.
Yeah.
Right? So other sports are getting their way through basketball because the superstar basketball, we talked about this in the island before, the superstar basketball player have changed. You look at guys like LeBron James and Michael Jordan. They were superstar players because of the slam dunks, because of the way they can change a game in one shot. Versus you look at guys like Steph Curry, yeah, he changes the game with the three-pointer, but let's be honest, it's not as exciting a watch. So, and now you look at stuff like the NBA All-Star Game. Like for me, for example, I'll just admit it, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I've had phases where I have started to get back into it. I'm hoping to get back into it this year, obviously, with the island and everything. But my first phase of basketball, I really got into it, was Vince Sandy in the 2000 Slam Dunk competition. That Slam Dunk really got Canada behind basketball. And not just Canada, but a lot of people. And same with Michael Jordan and his slam dunk competition. It really got people in the 80s. It really got people into it. And now you look at star players currently in the NBA who you want to take over as the next generation. for stepping out of the All-Star competition, for stepping out of the All-Star game. So, how is the sport going to survive when you have minor league players competing in the All-Star game? And no disrespect to the G League. I'm sure it's a fantastic league to go and watch. But, how would you feel if you are watching the NHL Scouts competition and instead William Nylander do a breakaway challenge? It's Alexander Nylander. It's nothing against Alexander, but he can barely crack NHL lost a spot, and now he's competing in the All-Star game. And so,
now, mind you, All-Star games for professional sports is a whole problem in general. But I do want to clarify a point I made a little bit. When I'm saying that I don't know if there's going to be as many players in the NBA that are worth the price of admission, I'm not saying there's not talent in the NBA. I realize that might be misconstrued a little bit. I just mean there's not as many guys anymore that I feel can single-handedly take over a game. But Lane, I believe either you need to go to the bathroom, and this is grade 4, or you have a point.
Well, I didn't want to clarify. It's not John Krasinski from The Office, even though he has the exact same name. He's just an athletic writer from The Athletic. But I think what he was trying to say was, I think he just said it wrong, right? He's just saying that he should have said, you know what? I understand it's hard, but look what our game is becoming. We are so popular on all these apps. He should have made it more of a positive message.
Right.
Look how awesome we are. We have this awesome TikTok. We have this awesome Instagram. Our highlight page is blowing up. Everyone what goes on there and watches. Our game is growing. We're not worried about people not because our game is awesome. People are into it. People love the NBA. But just the way I think it's just the way he worded it, but just saying, yeah, you can go on it instead of using it as a point to sell it. And here's another big thing that we haven't really talked about, and we don't want to go too long, but the streaming. Everybody knows what happened a few days ago with the giant corporation there, Stream East, which was the number one sort of pirated website that you could go and watch NHL, MLB, NFL, NBA. They went down. Everyone was. Yeah. It was more popular. It was the most popular thing on Twitter. It was literally It was literally trending number one worldwide about streaming. Even LeBron James was like, "What am I going to watch now?"
Yeah, exactly.
And I know he was.
She's like joking. Kevin Gausman saying he can't afford parking. I think LeBron can afford cable.
But it's just you don't want people to come to your game and not trying to find another streaming because there's always going to be another streaming where people go. Well, if he doesn't want my money, I'll just go watch it on streaming. But then you're going to lose all that revenue. You want to make sure you're not insulting that lower middle class. You got to make it in a way that doesn't put them down, but also ruin them in your game. I just think what he said and what the message was, I think were two construed things. But what do you think? Am I crazy or am I wrong?
Oh, I think it's totally Lane. I actually get what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to create swagger and that mic drop moment, right? I think. You can't. If you can't afford it,
he's a better PR writer, that's for sure.
Yeah, but instead of doing a drop the mic moment, it becomes a PR nightmare, and you can't. I don't know. I don't know about.
It's crazy.
You can't have the leading person being a PR nightmare. But what's a good thing about this comment is look what we're doing right now. We're talking about the NBA. We just saw Thursday Night Football. The NHL season's about to start. CFL season is literally right in the thick of the playoff race. And what are we talking about right now? The NBA. And that's probably why he said what he said. So in that, it's like what Kanye says, any publicity is good publicity. And I give him a lot of credit for trying to stir the pot and getting people to talk about it.
He stirred the pot.
Yeah, 100% stir the pot. Now,
but I do think at the end of the day, I agree with Lane. I think he could have spun it in a more positive way.
Oh, I agree with Lane too. I'm not saying that he
stirred the pot, but it's interesting who else stirred the pot here. And let's get back into football a little bit. The MLSC and the Toronto Argonauts just came up with and the Buffalo Bills. Sorry, the Argos are involved in this as well. Obviously, just came up with a big deal of a partnership between the Buffalo Bills and MLSC. And I have seen very, 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 very mixed reviews. You're getting some people who think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're getting other people who say they'd rather eat sliced bread with nothing on it every day for the rest of their life than agree with this deal. And I kind of going to break it down a little bit into two sides.
Well, before you go on, Jacob, I do have one question. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I do have a question before you break this down. Because
go ahead.
I think this is a good thing to look at. Do you think that maybe people are reacting to this negatively because we kind of have, because of the, I don't want to say it, but the political difference between the two countries? It's kind of maybe looked at a slap in the face when Canada's trying to be like this.
I think it's part of it.
Yeah, because
you look at every other marketing, from
you got the
buying
Prime
sandwiches
Minister,
to buying furniture, everything is Canada first.
And now
it's Canada first, except when it comes to our sports.
Well, God, I think that
I didn't want to ask that.
I think it's a great question, Lane. I think that's exactly why this deal happened. You look at Buffalo, right? So reverse this, regardless of political climate, it wasn't chosen. The Buffalo Bills are not deciding political climate, and before this this situation, I would say probably about 20 or 25% of Buffalo's revenue in ticket sales, and probably even higher in mirth, was Canadians, because of Southern Ontario, Buffalo Bills is Canada's team. And now you look at it, Buffalo Bills is building a new arena. We all know the arena is going over budget. And we also know that a new arena is going to have less seats. So they're thinking, well, Buffalo's, I give Buffalo a lot of credit, actually, because they're looking at this. It's like, okay, this is a downward trend. We don't think it's critical climate is going to change overnight. It's probably not going to change in another 3 or 4 years. So before watching it go down anymore, hit the panic button, let's come up with a solution to try to be proactive and swing it back the other way. So for Buffalo, it makes a lot of sense. The only issue I have with it is I think MLSE should have put some money into marketing the Argos. And I think that's
and here's where it kind of, and this is from a fan's perspective here, seeing a lot of this on the Argos social media. Fans have been begging the MLSC's owned restaurant to do Argo watch parties for road games.
What?
They are now going to be doing watch party for Bills games. So that's where, from a fan perspective, they're really put off. But I want to break this down because, for example, unfortunately, he's back center again in Mr. Wilson. And he's going on that this will, quote unquote, kill the CFL. I want to go off right away and say that is a completely ludicrous idea. It will not. I don't really think people in Saskatchewan gives two rat's ass if the Buffalo Bills have a flag at BMO Field.
Yeah,
nobody cares. This will not kill the CFL. Number two, it will not kill the CFL in Toronto because, let's be honest, unfortunately, the Argos to MLSC are basically a tax write-off, and then they can say, well, look, at least one of the teams we own can win a damn championship. But I want to break this down into two columns. We'll call it column A and column B. So column A is why it's bad for the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, kind of reactions have been going on. It's a spotlight shift. In Toronto, the Bills are a bigger brand. The deal pushes the Argos further into the shadows. This is just views we're seeing online. Merch and marketing. If fans buy Bills Argo gear, are they really buying into the CFL? Or are the Argos just a sidekick to the NFL fandom? History. The Bills series in Toronto didn't grow the CFL. It made the Argos feel like a second rate in their own backyard. This is just what people have been speculating. I'm not saying I agree with that. I actually completely disagree with that statement. And the identity crisis. The Argos should be building their own identity, not hitching themselves to the NFL bandwagon. So that's where people are saying these are negative. Now let's flip that, right? There's two sides to every coin. If not, you just, I don't know, you have a 2D coin that you can't go buy yourself any nachos with.
You can do a lot of tricks with it.
Now we look at side B in this column. Shared spotlight. The Argos piggybacking off the Bills' popularity, potentially new eyes on the Canadian Football League.
Exactly, yep.
Youth development, joint football camps, more kids playing football in Canada, which grows the sport long term. Remember, there's youth development camps where there's going to be Bills and Argo players there alike.
Right, that's a good
cross population. Bills fans might check out an Argo game for the first time, even if it's a small conversion rate, if they know there are going to be Buffalo Bill themes such as old, current, and former players and new Buffalo Bills merch.
Exactly.
Legitimacy bump. In Toronto's crowd of sports marketing, being linked in the NFL makes the Argos feel bigger and more relevant.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So I don't know if you guys agree with me. I agree and disagree with takes on both column A and column B when you look at a logistics breakdown.
Yeah.
And these are the breakdowns from what everyone's seeing. I don't think, for example, it's a history about the Bills in Toronto, because if you actually go back and look, that failed for the Bills, not for the Argos.
Oh yeah,
it didn't affect the Argos' attendance whatsoever, good or bad. It just kind of stayed where it was.
Yeah, and it failed for multiple reasons. I mean, we don't have an NFL-sized stadium. Well, Edmonton does, but in Ontario, we definitely don't have an NFL-sized stadium. The Sky Dome was not an NFL-style
and it sucks to watch football at the Sky Dome.
It does. BMO, as much as they're going to get upgrades with FIFA, it's just fantastic. And as much as BMO,
not everyone thinks that's
fantastic. Only 10-year-old stadium. It's not a bad stadium at all, but it's not an NFL-sized stadium. I mean, you would have to triple it to maybe be comparable. And the other thing is, I really don't think any type of NFL exporter is going to kill the CFL. The CFL and the NFL are two very different games once you got to compare it and look at it. And I personally like both, right? I can enjoy watching both games, and I got players I like on both sides and teams I like on both sides. But you get other people either one way or the other. And the CFL, even though, like the Argos, for example, even though it's a small fan base, it's very loyal fan base. And in a lot of cases, it goes back multiple generations. Like Jacob and I are third generation Argo fans, right?
Well, and I'm just going to say this too.
Like that.
I think what this is trying to do is hoping that if you can get someone to one CFL game and it's a good game, they will be hooked and they will continue to go. Because I will say in the CFL, and I don't know if you guys would agree with me or not, there are less games in the CFL that are a complete dud compared to the NFL.
Well, let's be
honest, the NFL, there's probably at least 3 to 5 games a week that you're like, well, that game wasn't even worth the time of me watching it.
Well, for sure. I was just going to say this announcement for Buffalo is literally perfect timing, because look at week 1. We all thought the game of week 1 in Buffalo was incredible. And what was the first thing we compared to? It was like watching a CFL game. So literally days after that happened, they announced this partnership. I guarantee this partnership has been in the works for years.
Now, I will say, though,
at the perfect time.
Go ahead, Lane.
So, I like it, but there are some things that do concern me. And the concerns that I have, and I hope it doesn't turn into this, but this is where I think people are coming from, right? You don't want to go, well, I wouldn't go because I would get arrested, but you wouldn't want to go to BMO Field and you're bringing your kids and you want to buy an Argos jersey, but the first thing you do is walk in and see Josh Allen merch 70% off because we got this deal, or get this limited time Josh Allen crossover jersey, get this limited time James Cook banner, get all this Buffalo merch, and then instead of the kid saying, I want to get the Nick Arbuckle jersey, well, you're walking out with Josh Allen swag and James Cook, and then you're kind of thinking, man, we should go to a Buffalo game instead of coming here. So then you take your fans, and then now you're giving the money there, and then maybe, who knows, and I hate saying this, if you got a deal, I'm sure the Bills are going to be like, hey, the players that we don't want, you guys should be putting on your roster to promote. So instead of actually trying to build a good team, you're just using second or third kind of rejects, putting them in the CFL because they're like, well, we got this partnership, so if you want to make ours good, we got to use. And that, I'm just saying, that might not happen right now.
What you're saying. I don't think that'll happen with the players, because I think that's more of an XFL thing, because it's hard to really evaluate NFL players in the CFL because the game is so drastically different. The merch, I actually agree with you depending on what the merch looks like. I don't know if I necessarily want to see a Josh Allen. It'd be cool, let's say, if they had a Josh Allen Argo jersey, as dumb as that sounds. Maybe that's a way you can get people in. But I'm more concerned, to be honest,
also,
of it's more of the spotlight thing that concerns me a little bit, just because people already think the NFL is this big thing that it's better than the CFL because it has more people watching it. Well, just because more people went left doesn't mean going right wasn't the correct answer. And look, I think overall the partnership is more good than bad, but I am concerned about the spotlight of this. I don't want to go to an Argo game and just see Buffalo Bills everywhere. I think if there's some crossover merch, like if I could get a Buffalo Bills CFL ball, that'd be kind of cool. But if it's like everywhere I go, it's Buffalo Bill flags instead of Argo, and I don't like it too. How they're going to do like Buffalo Bill themed Raptor games. That should be Toronto Argo themed Raptor games, Toronto Argo themed Leaf games. Not unless they do the Argo Bills crossover merch for all those crossover games, then maybe that can work. Like, I think people are hitting the panic button a bit too much when we just don't know exactly what this deal is going to be. Right? But I'm kind of on your side, Lane. I do have some concerns. Like when people are saying it's going to hurt the Argos' identity, I don't agree with that whatsoever. I think true Argo fans know what it is, and I think you might get some bandwagon fans from the NFL just going to go, ooh, there's going to be a former Bills player there. Let's go shake his hand, and then they'll go to the game. And the history thing, again, it's not mine. But I also, when people are saying a positive, I don't think this adds any legitimacy to the CFL whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, the CFL has been around longer than the NFL, and American football fans would hate this. The CFL rules are actually closer to what original football rules were back in the day. If you actually look at the way football was developed, it was developed more like a CFL game than it is an NFL game.
Well, for sure. They want the exciting offense, right? But one thing I was going to say I'm really curious to see is you look at it, why would MLSC do this deal? Well, the answer is simple. Money. So I'm curious what they're going to do with that money. And if with that money, if they use that money to pump into the Argos, then why not? I'm not saying the Leafs are sorting money in any means, because they're not. But if they want to generate more money to pump into the Argos, I think that's a great thing. And I
will say everyone's been complaining that the Argos have not tried anything new in their marketing.
Right.
This is new.
Something new.
This is different. Keith Pellia said he wants to raise the Argos profile.
He has, because he was an Argo fan growing up too, right?
And he also said straight up he wants to promote the only team they own that actually wins. He has publicly said that live in a press conference. When they asked him about all the teams MLSC runs, he said, well, the Argos are the only team we run that wins consistently.
Right. And, you look at it, the Argos...
Sorry to say that to you, Lane.
The Argos have tried different things, like when they won the Grey Cup, Muamba went to the Raptors game with the Grey Cup. And, of course, they did in Vancouver. I think it was Nick Arbuckle when they won in Vancouver, went to a Raptors game, the Grey Cup. They have tried different things. And I think the Bills is a good partnership with the Argos, too, because the Argos and the Bills do have a history together. You look at Doug Flutie, for example. Doug Flutie was very successful in both Buffalo and Toronto. You look at Chad Kelly, which I don't know how much longer Chad Kelly is going to be in Argo, but he definitely does have a chapter of Argos in his career. And his uncle is Jim Kelly, that made it to the Super Bowls with the Bills 5 times. Buffalo is a close border town to Toronto. So I think it's going to do more harm, more good than harm. I really do. It just really depends how it's all played out.
Well, Dan, here's the thing that another concern, though, is what I'm saying, though. You bring up all these players, right? Like Jim Kelly and Doug Flutie. These were ages ago. Like, when is it? Here's a good example, right?
Well, Chad Kelly's current.
No, but I'm just saying what BC Lions, Nathan Rourke.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, by the way, Doug Flutie publicly says now that Nathan Rourke is NFL caliber. The league just didn't give him a real chance.
My point exactly. So here you go. Nathan Rourke here's a perfect example, right? Nathan Rourke, CFL was phenomenon. Goes to the NFL, they won't even give him a chance. they wouldn't
Maybe
even
it's
put
hard
him
to see
in.
will change that.
You hope so, but again, I
Right.
worry. My worry is that the NFL thinks they're the big brother here, and they're going to come in and they're going to say, "No, we put the money in, so you better start using our scraps, and we're not going to use your players, and you use our thing, and you put our merch for."
Lane,
I'm worried. I'm worried.
I understand your concern.
They think they're the big brother.
And I think if the CFL used almost identical rules to the NFL, I would see your point. The CFL will never become a trickle-down league for the NFL. The
I hope
XFL
so.
already tried to do that with them, and the CFL basically told them to go away.
The other
It's
thing
not going to
too,
happen because at the end of the day, the CFL does have a cult following. But just since we mentioned the Doug Flutie thing about Nathan Rourke, it's interesting here. Flutie predicted the future where he said Nathan Rourke earned a shot in the NFL by winning CFL Most Outstanding Canadian Award one season south of the border, mostly Jacksonville, before he finished the year in New England and only dressed for 3 games. When you get on the field, you start to feel confident, you see things clearly, and you relax out there. Once you've played a handful of years up here, it's no different from the NFL. That's why you can jump back and forth. I jumped back and forth. Jeff Garcia and Dave Dickinson back to back all went back and forth.
Ricky Williams.
In the CFL, you have a guy like Vern Adams Jr., who's dynamic, very great athlete. Bo Levi Mitchell down in Hamilton, constant pro, smart quarterback, talented guys in the CFL. Once you get to a certain point, have the experience under your belt, you're a level on the playing field. You can go play anywhere, and that's where Bo and Vernon Adams Jr. is. It's just interesting, and maybe this is something where, Lane, you're looking at it one way. I'm looking at it another, where a guy like Doug Flutie is very much respected. And if NFL fans hear a guy like Doug Flutie, who is known, honestly, as one of the, I think we could all agree, of one of the greatest quarterbacks in pro sports,
100%.
that if he's talking about all these guys in the CFL, it could make a difference. I agree the NFL as a coaching staff and as a league does not respect the CFL. But this could be a way to get new fans engaged into the league. It could also be a way to make the CFL look like a joke. I just don't think it'll kill the league or kill the Argos.
Well, the other thing, too, that no one really seems to talk about this situation, I don't know why, is, maybe the Argos are the first CFL team to have a partnership with an NFL team. But there are other Canadian CFL markets that share a border with an NFL team. For example, Jacob, when we were in Sault Ste. Marie, a lot of people in Sault Ste. Marie, funny enough, do support the CFL, even though we're far away. But then you also have a lot of people in Sault Ste. Marie support the Green Bay Packers because the Green Bay Packers is kind of close to the border of Michigan there, and they still support it. You look at Detroit Falls, Detroit and Windsor. You have funny people in Windsor. Some people in Windsor are Hamilton Ticats fans or Toronto Argo fans, and they also support the Detroit Lions. You look at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, of people living in Vancouver, the Seahawks are their Canadian NFL team. But the BC Lions still do extremely well in Vancouver and get great attendance numbers, are starting to make a profit.
All I'm going to say with this, and then I think we can move on. So many fans freaked out because this is something the Argos have never tried. But they're the same fans that are complaining the Argos don't do any marketing. They're trying something new. It could work. It could backfire. I give them credit for trying something new. I do wish, though, MLSC would wake up and do watch parties for the Argos in their own restaurants that they own.
Yeah, we're calling you out.
But I do, sticking with the Argos, though, but just moving on to a new thing here, is there's been talks, obviously, about 3 of their home games being not at home next year. Yeah. And Keith Pelly at this event where it was the Bills, he actually did address it, and he brought up some interesting points on why they didn't go to, we'll say, Queen's University or UFT or Guelph University or Western, because he brought up other schools and places and York University that they looked into, and he said it can make the CFL look Bush League, which it's not, when you're playing a professional regular season game in a stadium that holds between 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Kind of like Arizona Coyotes.
He said, we don't want to go somewhere where no one's going to be there. And they said, I make you a guarantee the extra revenue we will make from having these games in full-size arenas, we are pumping strictly into the Toronto Argonauts. And by next year, you are going to see a lot more new marketing tools to help promote this franchise. He's making that a guarantee. So if that becomes true, then I don't mind losing 3 home games if it actually benefits the marketing and the strategy of the team.
So you're okay them coming to Hamilton and playing at home?
I don't love it, but if you got to look at it though, he is right. By the time you spent all the money to put extra stands in Guelph to even make it hold 7,000, they would literally lose money. And it doesn't look great for have a professional sport like what Dan just mentioned, the Arizona Coyotes. Let's be honest, we all said that was a complete joke.
But okay, it's for a whole season. But sometimes it's like, okay, here's a good example. Sometimes it's nice to have an intimate setting. I look at wrestling, and this is gonna sound crazy, but there's an arena called the ACW arena. It only holds 2,000 people. I wouldn't want the show there every week. But they just did a show there for the first time in 20 years, and it was phenomenal. You had this little intimate setting, and it was cool, and all the fans were around. It was really loud. Okay, for 1 or 2 games, you could get away with it. For a whole season, I would agree. If it was a whole season or like 7 or 8 games, I would agree. For 1 or 2 games, I don't think it would care that much. You'd get this really intimate setting with a lot of loud fans. You'd have the building packed. You could have the fans would be into it. It'd be so loud. You'd get such a passionate fan base coming instead of going to Hamilton where it's going to be like, boo, Argos suck.
Yeah, I will say I don't agree with putting the game in Hamilton. I do agree with you there, but I can see why they did what they did. But I also see your point, Lane. I think it's just more to the point as they're trying to still salvage money that they can put back into the team. I know MLSC doesn't necessarily need the money, but I do also think it does lower the quality of the product just from a viewer standpoint. And also, too, I'm just going to say from a TV deal standpoint,
that too.
The sight lines in these universities suck. Okay. And you cannot produce the same quality of a game production-wise. And you got to be thinking about that when there's anywhere from 400 to 700,000 people watching every game. You have to think about that, too. And that's, if you remember the season when the Ticats played in Guelph, the TV productions looked terrible. Yeah, like it did not look like a professional football broadcast because the TV angles weren't good enough.
But fair enough. But
watch the Argo preseason game, and this is because of my background in TV. But like the camera lines, it just didn't look good, right? And people will accept it for a preseason game. They're not going to accept it in a regular season game. And unfortunately, too, if you do a game in Kingston, you're more apt to get Ottawa Red Blacks fans coming down to watch than Toronto Argo fans.
I understand.
I would have ideally. I wish they could have went to York University because I think you could probably find a way to get about 10,000 seats in there, which I think would have been good enough. Now, I also won't be surprised if one of these games, let's say this game they're saying it's going to be Saskatchewan, maybe this ends up being like an out east game instead or something. Remember, the schedule has not been released. Nothing is set in stone. I think Keith Powey was just trying to explain more why they're going this route. I mean,
I give him credit for making that
weren't doing FIFA in general. There were some rumors about them going to the Sky Dome, but unfortunately, the way they've done the rentals in the dome, you physically cannot put football there anymore.
All I'm saying is,
I get what you're saying, though, Lane.
Like, wouldn't it be nice if you could, they want to talk about growing their game and they want to grow their brand, right? Wouldn't it be nice to go to a school and make a deal with, like, for example, Dan's school right now? Maybe make a deal with the dance school. Like, hey, if you pay $40, you get to come out. And then you get a younger audience who may not be watching Argo games. They're more invested in
Well, that's a great point.
They're invested, they're always on their phones with TikTok and social media. Maybe you make what you do with
if you're always on your phone, download the Streakers app if you're always on your phone.
But but maybe you turn it into how like the Leafs do these like next generation nights. Like do something like that. You get the kids involved.
More Junior Jays.
No, not Junior Jays, but like you make it.
I don't want to go to a baseball game to take my 8-year-old to get his face painted because I just spent $100 for this damn ticket.
No, not like that young, but you turn it into like a social media thing with the college kids. Like I
get what you're saying.
You get maybe do a college kids production. You get college kids in broadcasting that are in an event media production. Get them to come help out.
That's a great idea.
The community
well,
involved.
No, that couldn't work because again, you can't have a bunch of amateurs going on TSN because you got to remember No, but Lane, you have to remember the broadcasters make deals with ad revenue people, so that wouldn't work. I get
Well, you
what you're
can't do a
saying.
whole production,
All
but they
these
can maybe
things
call
work
one
beautiful.
play.
All these things would work beautiful for a preseason game. These don't work in regular season when there's no room for proper training staff. There's no room for coaching staff. I'm sorry, when we were there for the preseason game, the field, the sidelines were so small that Ticats and Argos almost got into a fist fight because they were literally elbow width apart from each other. It just,
that wouldn't be fun to watch.
it's fun to watch, but it's not what the CFL wants, having a brawl between the two teams where now all of a sudden Bo Levi Mitchell and Nick Arbuckle are out for the season because, I don't know, Sean Lemon decided to try to beat them up. I know he's on a different team.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, he just teleported to this game.
You get what I'm saying. It's one of those things, as much as it's unfortunate, I don't think there was another option.
To add to Lane's point, though, I think there is a missed opportunity here. You look at the NHL playing games in Europe, for example, right? And you look at the NHL.
Okay, actually, I want to put a point in that before we get into that. I hate that they play a random 2 weeks in Europe and in the regular season. I think it's stupid. I think it wrecks the entire schedule. None of the players are ready to go, and you watch some bloody
already there.
Hockey. You watch terrible hockey. Again, preseason, do it wherever the hell you want. Same thing in the NFL. I'm sorry, they do these games overseas on a random Saturday, and nobody even watches it because no one's thinking about NFL on Saturday. I don't know if you boys heard that Chiefs game. They said the TV ratings were terrible.
Yeah,
on YouTube, of course it was.
But no, even in Canada, the ratings were down about 30% from what I heard.
Right.
So it doesn't work. I get what you guys are saying. And I do agree the CFL needs to get more involved with colleges. Like, I don't know why they're not going to the colleges and say, look, we'll sell you these tickets for $10. $10 for students.
And why not offer like a shuttle from York University down to BMO Field?
Well, you basically have that because you have the subway right there. So do like $15 and that includes your subway and go.
And imagine you could put in a school. Hey, we hosted an Argo game. Like you get so much more students. It get more money for this. Oh, this is a little. I'm not knowing this. Probably what I'm saying is crazy, but.
No, Lane, I get what you're saying. There's just a lot of other logistics. If it wasn't for broadcasting logistics, and if it wasn't for the space, like, for example, this could work in the States because the college football stadiums are huge. They're like 40,000 people. Yeah. It doesn't work in Canada because college sports in Canada just don't hit the same way.
That's the other thing.
It's unfortunate, but it's just a fact. But
market college sports better in Canada.
But before we get into these week's games, I want to revisit the CFL Power Rankings, and so we can take another look to where all these teams are at. And when we take a look at the CFL Power Rankings, brought to you by Lane Needs Hearing Aids. And I kid, Lane. Going into this week, we have Saskatchewan Roughriders at 1, Hamilton Tiger Cats 2, Calgary Stampeders on the bye, sitting at 3, Edmonton Elks 4, Toronto Argonauts 5, Ottawa Redblacks 6, Winnipeg Blue Bombers 7, BC Lions 8, Montreal Alouettes 9.
With this new deal, you're going to have to put Toronto Argos / Buffalo Bills.
The Toronto Philonauts is what fans will start calling them. But those are the power rankings heading in to this week. And we got to look at the first game of the week, which is Sushi versus Concussion Protocol. The Hamilton Tiger Cats are taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Zach Collaros will not be in this game due to the concussion. Rivas, by the way, did receive a maximum suspension for the hit, which his quote-unquote is that's BS.
Really?
I don't think it should have been a maximum fine. I didn't think the hit was that bad.
No, I didn't either.
Really?
Wow.
Come on.
I'm not the commissioner. Calm down. I'm not Mitch Marner. I'm not Tim White. Don't yell at me.
John Cena.
But what I'm very curious to see about is can Winnipeg find a way to move the ball without Zach Collaros and with Brady Oliveira, I think kind of having an off year. And Lane, I'm a little surprised about you Because you called out Ryan Dinwiddie a lot when he was calling out his team.
True.
Meanwhile, Brady Oliveira, who's a leader, I want the ball more.
That's gross.
And he went on, and then he got the ball quite a bit in the Banjo Bowl and didn't do a heck of a lot with it.
It's gross. I hate when people do that stuff.
I mean, and you have Hamilton here on the flip side. And again, Lane, I'm taking this right back to you. You were kind of going, woe is me, Hamilton sucks. They have a chance here if they can beat Winnipeg, depending on how the rest of the week goes. They have a chance to start pulling away again in the East.
Okay, I was mad because, come on. Give me a break. It was a tough day for me. I had to watch two teams do the same thing. It was frustrating, but
I get it, but I mean, you got to give Hamilton some credit here. They found a way to bounce back. Greg Bell's becoming a huge part of their offense.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
Look, I'll say the same thing I said before. As long as they play a complete game, they're fine. It's just they just got to stop playing these I just want to see more like what they did last week. Play a complete game and you're fine. Put all what you've said before. Put all facets of your game together, right? You've talked about this with the.
Or you need all three phases to win.
Right. You need special teams. You need offense. You need defense. Last 3 weeks we weren't seeing that from Ticats. They brought it back again this week, but after that BC Lions, we started to see, okay, Bo Levi Mitchell, the offense was starting not to click. Defense was sloppy. The game management was sloppy. And they were getting away with it for a while, but they're not getting away with it now. But I think maybe that loss, maybe me screaming into my computer profusely, maybe woke them up a bit. Maybe they needed that bye. They needed the reality call. Maybe they can get back to their winning ways here.
Because if they win this game, right, and let's say Montreal loses again, which we'll get into Montreal later, there's some news at the quarterback position in Montreal.
Uh-oh.
But maybe, it gives Hamilton a real chance to start to pull away from Montreal. And I'm going to say it too, from Ottawa and from Toronto, who have all really started to find their stride. But it is time to grab our cell phones. Mine's in my hand. It locked. Oh, no, it unlocked. Because I got the Streakers app open. And let's dive right into our Streaker pick. Now, if you want to play along with us, you need to download the Streakers app. It's an absolutely free app. Doesn't cost you a dime. Doesn't cost you a nickel. Doesn't cost you a penny. Pennies don't even exist, and it doesn't even cost you that. Doesn't cost you the toilet paper, because Dan's going to use all the toilet paper when he has his big poops. Lane, you can keep that quarter, Lane.
Oh.
You don't need it to download the Streakers app.
You don't even need to put in a credit card number now.
No.
Nothing.
And if you did need a credit card number, Dan will give you his. What?
Yeah,
who's taking this one, boys? Who's taking this game? The Winnipeg Blue Bombers or the Hamilton Tiger Cats? I'm going to start off the hop here. And anyone who knows me knows the one time I went to a sushi place, I ordered hash browns. I don't like sushi. But, yes, Lane, I found a sushi place in Sault Ste. Marie that sold hash brown. But I'm locking in the Hamilton Tiger Cats, baby.
Whoa.
I think that I'm going to go to the sushi restaurant, get my hash browns, and they also sold chicken wings at this sushi restaurant. It was a weird sushi restaurant there. But I'm taking the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Mr. Moore, for your money.
Yes, sir. I was just going to mention quickly before I make my pick, we're trying something a little new this week with the props. The props are already in the app, already for you to go. And there are tons of props in there you can pick this weekend. You can make multiple choices on multiple games of both CFL and MLB. So we're not going to go through every single prop on the show. So you want to see even more cool props, you got to create a Streakers account and log in and check it out. But for my pick, I need a little drum roll here, as
we already know who Dan's picking.
Is set up. I am actually going to agree with Mr. Jacob, and I'm taking the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Is that the pick you thought I was going to make, Jacob?
It is the pick I thought you were going to make.
Okay, well, I guess you already knew then.
Because I figured you have enough of a brain to realize that. Then again, with a prop that I'm going to bring up that you put in there, maybe you don't have enough of a brain to figure
that's what's so awesome with this.
Mr. Lane.
Put any prop you want.
Lane, who are you taking in this one? Are you also eating some hash browns at a sushi restaurant with me?
Well, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to bring the Gaviscon. I'm going to pick the Moore boys up.
We're not sponsored by Galveston, but
we're gonna go to August 8th, and we're gonna eat some sushi because I'm also taking the Hamilton Ticats, baby. I don't know if you've ever been to August 8th, but we're going. We're gonna go. Let's go.
So
what's August 8th?
It's a restaurant, Dan.
Come on.
So I'm gonna pick out one of Dan's crazy props here. Okay.
That could be a new theme for the show. Dan's crazy props.
Why the hell, Dan, did you put in here the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will pass over 270 yards when they don't have a quarterback?
Because anything
you're trying to give away streakers points. Are you like the cash man? Except you're the streaker point man?
Yeah, bro.
Well, that's easy. That's a big old no.
No.
Well, maybe I'll get a streakers point fan because I think it very well could be.
Then again, Dan thought the Chase would get 90 wins, and they still might do that.
Dan,
that was one of the craziest things ever.
Lane, how you feeling about Kenny Lawler for 160 plus yards through the air?
160 plus yards?
That's what Dan said it, not me. Blame Dan. Don't blame me.
No.
Why not? He's been looking good lately.
160 yards.
Yes, sir.
No. I think I got the streaker points. 160.
Well, if it's not easy to you, challenge me.
I will say yes to one of your props just to help you out on this game, and then
that's
we'll
hilarious.
move on to the next gauge. If you want to see the rest of the props for this one, you got to get in the app. But I'm going to say the Blue Bombers will rush for over 120 yards on the ground. I think between Oliveira and Strevler, you're going to see a lot of running.
Yeah.
I think the rest of your props are a little ludicrous.
Give me another one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need to know. It can't be anything worse than 160 yards. Kenny Lawler.
He hit 200 one game.
You actually have Kenny Lawler in there twice. You also have Kenny Lawler for 80 plus yards in the game.
Okay, I'll take that.
That was more realistic. So there you go.
I'll take that.
Well, because that way you can get a point either way.
Maybe you're supposed to combine them both and get 240.
But let's move on to the BC Lions versus the Ottawa Red Blacks. And I'm calling Dan out again because, Dan, you need to get some Oh, you do have Ottawa Red Black props in here. Never mind. I didn't see them at first. Remember, there is also yes or less in there for all of these games. So make sure you jump in the app and take your vote on your yes or less. But I don't know if you guys are surprised about this or not. Drew Brown's healthy.
Ooh.
He's not going to play.
Yeah.
They're sticking with Dustin Crum.
A Crum back.
Against the BC Lions. Drew Brown is listed as the backup quarterback.
I agree with this.
So do I personally.
Yeah, we talked about the controversial what could happen in the Argos, and I think we're seeing what Bob Dice is doing, and maybe it's going to start a trend for like Ryan Dinwiddie, So we'll see what happens.
I look at it, Dustin Crum just came off one of his best games of his career.
Oh, yes.
And the BC Lions could not stop Crum's running ability.
No.
So the way I would do it is I would put Crum in, but if it's not going well, then bring in Brown.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree.
And also, too, just because Drew Brown has been cleared, maybe they just feel he's not quite up to game speed yet. Because it is a knee injury. Now, to flip this on the other side, I'm curious what you guys think. And I'm going to throw this into our second gas or ass of the morning. Good morning. The BC Lions, with their struggles, are starting to fall out of not just the playoff race in the West, but the playoff race for the wild card crossover.
Gas. Yeah.
Well, thank you for answering.
I don't know.
I think it's gas as well.
100%.
I think the Lions need this win.
They do, actually.
Is they're already starting to fall behind.
I don't know. Yeah. They got that big win against Hamilton. Looked like they kind of were starting the season. Like I said, It looks crazy now, but at the time when I said, Nathan Rourke was pushing for MOP, I really did think, and I was like, man,
Yeah, but you know what? It's not Rourke's fault that they're losing. They can't defend.
That's true. Especially, I personally don't like York. It's not his fault.
Do you know what the defense is saying for the BC Lions? Because they're playing terrible. Like, they're allowing... Like, let's actually go back and look at the BC Lions' last few games. And mind you, I'm not saying the offense has been quite good enough in some of these games either, but Nathan Rourke's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
So
in Buckler,
you lost the last game 34-33. Crum put up 31 points in the second half.
Yeah, it was nuts.
You then the week before lost to Toronto Argos 52-34. Nick Arbuckle,
Jack Kelly said 50
Brady impression again, and literally ripped that Lions defense apart. The Montreal Alouettes of no quarterback still managed to put up 18 points against you. And then the last game against Hamilton that Lane mentioned, sure, they won. They scored 41, but they also allowed 38.
Yeah.
These are the only game you kept a team to under 30 was the Montreal Alouettes, and their quarterback was James Morgan for the majority of the game.
Captain Morgan.
Who is not a good quarterback. And
No.
he's not good enough yet for CFL caliber. So you're looking at the BC Lions, and boys, I'm actually concerned. If I'm a Lions fan, you see the Elks really starting to rise up. I will rise up. Yeah, the Ottawa Red Blacks, you remember, if they win this game, they win the season series. Now, mind you, the BC Lions to win the season series only got to win this game by like 3. So it's not like they need to win by a huge margin. But you're looking here, if you're the BC Lions, this is almost a do or die game for you. Especially considering you had a game against the Argos coming up and you lost to the Argos too. If you lose both games to the Argos and to the Red Blacks, I think the Lions may be the first team we looked at and be like, look, these boys are done unless Winnipeg also falls apart.
Well, as I say, if the BC is done, it's going to make it more interesting for Edmonton. We never thought at the beginning of the season Edmonton would be in this conversation, but here we are after Labor Day and after the Banjo Bowl week, and Edmonton's looking pretty good, and then there's a big controversy too. Can you blame Nathan York for what's happening? No. But if you look at how Vernon Adams Jr. is doing in Calgary, maybe you can start saying Nathan York is not the solution for the BC Lions.
Disagree with you. Vernon Adams Jr., I'll be honest, statistically in every stat is having a worse year than Nathan Rourke.
I understand that, but he's finding ways to win. He's getting his
team leader. He didn't find a way to win last week.
You even see the game of BC versus Calgary, and a lot of BC players were going back to VA and Calgary and like shaking hands and saying,
"Yeah, but Dan, that's just a common football thing. Football's not like hockey. They don't hate each other. They just hate each other during the 10 seconds of play."
Well, yeah, okay.
There's a difference, but yeah. You know what time it is? It's time to grab our cell phones again and jump into the Streakers app, but we're going to do something a little bit different. So instead of picking who we think are going to win, we had a lot of fun going through all of Dan's props because they're very interesting. So you're not going to find out who we're going to win just yet. And I just want to go over the props. Lane, do you think the final play of the game will be a knee?
No.
That never happens in the CFL. Like, hardly ever.
I see it happen in CFL a couple of times.
Lane, I'm just loving your reactions to these. So, will the BC Lions score 20 points in the first half?
I can actually see that.
Whoa! We have the first prop that I've read from Dan that Lane thinks makes sense.
No, I can see it. I can see BC doing what they like, trying to put up a lot of points, and then I can see. I also actually say yes to that.
Because the problem is their defense, not for offense.
Oh boy. Dan, you really think that the BC Lions are going to? You went on that you don't think Nathan Rourke's any good, but you think the BC Lions are going to score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, because for getting a lot of offense, Nathan Rourke is getting a lot of numbers. I keep saying Nathan Rourke's not a problem. So I think he could very well easily have another 300-plus yard game with 3 touchdowns.
Let's go, Nathan Rourke.
Now let's get into who we actually think is going to win the game. I just thought these props were kind of funny to go about. Dan, who are you taking, BC or Ottawa?
Well, I'm going to take Ottawa, but I just want to remind the viewers at home, if you want to have as much fun as we're having these crazy props and telling your friends 2 crazy props and not put money on the line, download the Streaker apps and do what we're doing and build your own channel and challenge your friends. You can do that. And you can laugh over the craziness, Imagine how fun it's going to be watching the game in your garage or TV going and see one of these crazy props actually happening. It's like a TV commercial coming to life. And you can have that segment too on the Streakers app if you download it.
And if you don't download it, your life just is very boring. Pauline, who are you taking?
I'm taking BC because I feel like they gotta win this.
Oh, interesting.
I'm with you. I feel like they need it.
They need it, and they're not going to get it.
They need it more than
Ottawa
SpongeBob needs water.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Ottawa Redblacks in this one because I actually don't know if we're going to see a crossover from the West. And I'm taking the Ottawa Redblacks to find a way to take down the BC Lions and take that commanding season series.
Commanding.
We all thought at the beginning of the year we're going to see a crossover. It's one they made the CFL unique with only 9 teams, but here we are in the thick of the playoff race after the Banjo Bowl, and now it's looking like it's not going to happen. So,
well, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just don't want it to.
We'll go with Shades, right? The big viewer, big fan of the show. He's a Redblack season ticket holder and fan. So let's go with Redblacks.
Well, let's get into this Argo game. And Dan, you made your first mistake putting in the props, so I can definitely say no to this one.
What?
Trey Ford definitely will not pass 230 yards.
No, here's my thought about this.
Oh my gosh, you're serious.
No, let me finish. Here's my thought about this, because I almost didn't put this in, but I decided to do that, and here's why. Toronto is playing Edmonton. Toronto has a very physical defense. What happens if the Argos D-line sacks Cody Fajardo and he gets injured? Who's going to come in? Trey
on the
Ford.
first play of the game?
It could. What
is Cody Fajardo going to leave the stove on and have to go back home?
What? We can see this happen.
Even John Cena's like, you want crack, boy?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's take a look at this game. And
baking soda.
I will say this game may be one of the biggest games in the crossover situation, because Edmonton, if you're looking at trying to not have a crossover from the West, because Edmonton won the first game.
Never mind that. I think it's one of the biggest games of the week.
Well, you could argue BC Ottawa is just as big. But
well, for sure, yeah.
If for Toronto here, if they want a good shot to not have Edmonton get the crossover, they have to win this game, and they got to win by either like 9 or 10. 9 points, because they lost by 8. So they have to win by at least 9.
Crazy, so.
But Edmonton's defense has been playing at a really high level, and Justin Rankin is almost.
Well, because it's all former Argos.
Now, here's the interesting thing: Chad Kelly has been activated. He's not on the injured list. He's practicing. He's not starting.
Oh, he's not. We know that now.
Nick Arbuckle is getting the start this week. Now, Brian Dinwiddie seems to be talking more. It's because they just feel Chad Kelly's a little too rusty.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still Nick Arbuckle for at least another week. Personally, I think it should be Arbuckle's team in general this year.
Well, I think it's Arbuckle's ball until he loses it at this point. And maybe I think more than likely he's not going to lose it. I've been a big Arbuckle fan for 6+ years. I'm a huge Chad Kelly fan too. But in this situation, Arbuckle's got the locker room. Arbuckle's got the leadership. Arbuckle got from the Grey Cup when the odds were highly against him last year. And I think until he loses the ball via injury like Cody Fajardo I'm predicting, or from bad players, I don't think it's going to happen. I think this Nick Arbuckle's team. Oh, Jacob's having a hard time here.
All right, gas or ass?
Your gas or ass should damn never make the props again. I kid.
Oh, ass. But I actually have a real gas or ass. If the Argos lose this week, the Argos will pull the leash so hard off Nick Arbuckle, he'll lose the team for the year, and they're just going to throw Kelly in.
Ass.
I think it's gas.
I think it depends on what Arbuckle does. If they lose 41-39 and Arbuckle throws 480 yards and 5 touchdowns, then you can't blame it on Nick Arbuckle.
I agree with Jacob here. I'm saying ass.
I think it's gas.
I don't. I think
they're just waiting for an excuse. Personally, I think they want to play him this week, but they know it'll be bad logistics because of how Nick Arbuckle. But if they lose one game, they'll be like, well, we're out of it now, so it doesn't really matter.
Wait, but even if they lose this game, they're not by any means out of the playoffs because they're currently tied with Montreal. They're either tied or only 2 points behind Montreal.
And then all the fans will be like,
Montreal tied with Ottawa.
You guys may not be saying it, but how many times have we heard people this year saying like, "Oh, if Chad Kelly was there, we would have won the Super Bowl."
Idiot.
Doesn't matter.
There's only one game this year I truly feel the Argos would have won if Chad Kelly was in.
Montreal.
It was against Montreal.
Yeah.
By the way, the Argos are currently sitting 2 points behind Montreal. Even if they lose this game, they're not out.
Dan, most of the people that give EA credit about their video games are stupid, but they still listen to them and make bad decisions.
By the way, you know what? This is going to be a first time. I have a gas or ass to piggyback on Lane's beautiful ass. If Ryan Dinwiddie decides to go to Chad Kelly, and if the Toronto Argonauts do not make the playoffs, Ryan Dinwiddie will lose his job.
Yeah.
Because you have Nick Arbuckle, who is now people are saying what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. There's a good chance this man could win the MOP this year.
Yeah.
He leads the league in passing yards. He is second in touchdowns. He has improved his efficiency rating by over 10 points over the last 6 games. Those are numbers that don't happen usually.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Like usually, that is very. I don't think people quite realize what Nick Arbuckle has done is very difficult. You just saw him do a Labor Day game that will be remembered 20 years from now from Baltimore.
Yeah. TSN top 10 moments, that's for sure.
So, look, I think this should be Arbuckle's team unless he starts to play terrible.
I just said like I don't know
The only way
why.
I could see it, Lane, is let's say the only way I agree with you with the Kelly situation. Let's say the Argos lose their next 2 to 3 games and the season's done. Even if Arbuckle's played well, then I would throw Chad Kelly in just to see where he is to figure out for next year.
I know. I guess I'm just scared because I feel like I could be wrong. But
Lane, you're scared? I will give you 10 seconds to calm down. Oh boy, now he's hyperventilating. This countdown's scaring him. It's becoming orange. Do you feel better, Lane?
No, because I don't really don't care because I'm a Tigers fan. But for you guys, I'm scared because it's just the announcement is, here comes the comeback, and he's.
I'll be honest. I was furious of Chad Kelly when he posted that.
Right.
I'm sorry, Dan. I know you like him, but that's just Chad Kelly caring about himself more than his team.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say.
No, it's not that.
Yes, it is that.
It is.
Chad Kelly always puts
absolutely that.
Chad Kelly always puts the Argos
he
first.
Should be supporting
the reason why
Chad bluntly is playing better than you ever played.
The only reason why Chad Kelly did that is because the reason why I love him. He's got swagger.
No, it's because he's an ass.
No, it's not.
He's a likable ass, but he's an ass.
No, but to piggyback off what I'm saying, it's like he goes out there and makes it as don't call it a comeback. I'm back. I'm Chad Kelly. Woohoo! My team again. It's like woohoo! But this is what scared me. It's like woohoo! But it scared me because I look at that situation. I'm like, this sounds like a guy who's probably going there being like, okay, fine, I'll sit out this game, but I want it next game. And it feels like Ryan Dinwiddie's like, yeah, but Arbuckle's better than you. But you talk about that swagger and that attitude. If he's coming in there being like, well, I'm the higher paid quarterback. I'm the one who should be playing. Play me instead, or I'm gonna leave or do this. And they might fall in that because they do have the contractual option to play him. They do have to pay him. The MLC still has to give him the paycheck, so they might want to play him, but they don't really they're kind of stuck between A and B here. So if they don't win, then they're going to have to go to Kelly because the fan press are going to be like, well, why did he play? Even though if it's wrong and you guys are right, the fans are going to go, why did Jack Kelly play? He was sitting on the sidelines. He was coming back. And it'll just drive that night further into Arbuckle, and then you'll lose him to freaking Montreal next year.
Just to put into perspective, Chad Kelly's best season.
You can't say I'm crazy.
No,
I get what you're saying.
Coming from. But Chad Kelly's best season, and Dan, I understand why you like him, but just hear me out before you start.
I love him.
Now. So Chad Kelly's best season was he threw 4,123 yards, 23 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He started in 17 games because there was one.
He went 16-1.
And then had the worst playoff game in Argo history.
Yeah, I know.
Nick Arbuckle in 12 games is at 3,828 yards and 23 touchdowns already.
Yeah,
he will easily beat Chad Kelly's best season by probably, I'm going to say at least 10 touchdowns and probably by about at least 1,000, if not 1,200 yards.
Holy cow. But
right now, Nick Arbuckle was on pace for 34 touchdowns and 5,600 yards.
Yes, nuts.
So even if he slows down a little bit, I'm sorry, but he's on pace for a better year than Bo Levi Mitchell had last year, who was the Eastern Conference MOP. Everyone's going on about Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris is not doing as well as Nick Arbuckle. Nick Arbuckle has a higher completion rating than Trevor Harris right now. That is how good he is playing. Yeah. Right? So, and you got to look at it. Out of Nick Arbuckle's 10 interceptions over the last 6 games, he's only thrown 2. So once he's got going, if you look at his average of what he's done over his last 6 games, if he could do that all year, he would have been on pace for 6,400 yards and 46 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. Dan, you can laugh at me, but that's the level of play you are getting out of Nick Arbuckle.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. It's amazing how good he's doing.
If you watch the film,
it's like a Disney movie.
Is the prettiest quarterback to watch? Hell no. Was Tom Brady?
No.
Hell no.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not comparing Nick Arbuckle to Tom Brady because that'd be crazy. Yeah. But what I'm getting at is sometimes the prettiest form isn't the best player. It's like Justin Crum in Ottawa. When you watch Justin Crum play, it's kind of nitty and gritty, and it's not really what you expect out of a professional quarterback, but he finds a way to stay in games and get some wins. And that's what I think Nick Arbuckle is doing with this offense right now, and especially with this receiving core. Last week, it was no Tavares Daniels, it was no Coxie, and it was no problem.
Well, I hate to say this, but, if something crazy happens and Dinwiddie puts in Chad Kelly for no apparent reason, we could see a similar situation to the BC Lions and Nathan Rourke and Farron Adams Jr. of last year.
Yeah.
The dressing room gets divided. And the Argos, because of our loss early in the season, they can't afford to lose more games at this point. They can't have a speed bump. They can't have dressing room drama that takes over a game. They can't, at this point, they can't lose one bad game. Like, they have to put your foot deep down, pedal to the floor, 100%, 150% of the rest of the season to just have a chance to make a playoff. So you cannot have a speed bump at this point. And as much as I love Chad Kelly's swagger, I do wonder if the social media posts and everything of it is going to start a little drama or controversy and speed bumps, because you can tell this Argo team loves Nick Arbuckle. I'm sure they love Chad Kelly too, but they love Nick Arbuckle and they play well for him. They listen to him. He's like Steve Eisenman. He's a quiet leader versus Chad Kelly's a leader as pumps and motivates in your face. Nick Arbuckle leads by example. And it's not that one way is bad or one way is good or one way is right, one way is wrong. It says that different ways work for different teams. And for this 2025 Argonauts team, they're working well under Nick Arbuckle.
Look, and I just kind of want to read you guys some stats too as well. Chad Kelly's completion rating 67.6%. Nick Arbuckle this season 72.8.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nick Arbuckle, Chad Kelly through his career, which is 1.5 seasons, basically 35 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. Nick Arbuckle this season 23 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Okay, yeah, Chad Kelly has the stronger arm. He has the mobility, but we don't even know if he has that mobility right now due to the leg injury.
Right.
Nick Arbuckle, I am pleased he is the guy for this week. Lane, I normally wouldn't say this. I really hope you're wrong. And if they lose one game, they don't lose faith in him.
Yeah,
I just.
But
yeah,
it is time to jump back into our cell phones. Don't actually jump on your cell phone, though.
Yeah. Don't want
to let's get into the Streakers app. And on the Streakers app, because I think we've seen the bump enough for now, but on the Streakers app, who are you taking in this one, Mr. Lane? The Toronto Argonauts, are you going to ride the boat, or are you wanting to try an elk burger?
In fact, I need a minute.
You need a minute.
I need 10 seconds. Give me the 10-second countdown.
Hold on. And
this
9,
is a Care Bear countdown.
7,
5, 4, 3,
6,
2, 1.
5.
It's going fast.
4,
oh no.
3, 2, 1. Decision time, Mr. Dashko.
Gonna take the Elks.
Oh.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either, because you're going to be wrong.
Yeah, you're trying. You're going with a fan of Smith there.
I think what it is, I look at it, it's very hard to beat a team twice. And I know I'm saying Ottawa is going to do it. I don't think Edmonton will. Yes, Edmonton, I believe, is getting Nick Anderson back, which is very important to them, to their offense. But Toronto, for the first time all season, although Spencer Brown has been limited in practice, from what I hear, he's still going to play. He's just been taking a break because he's been busy. The Argos can actually run the ball. Yeah. And because they can run the ball, last time Edmonton didn't have to deal with that. Right. And the Argonauts, their defense really struggles at covering the deep pass, but they can cover everything else. And Edmonton struggles at completing a deep pass. So, which is why I think Toronto will win this game. And I think the Argos will get the win by at least 9 points to give them the edge in the season series.
Yeah.
Mr. Moore, who are you taking?
I'm taking Argos.
Now it's time to play. Did Dan's props make sense? The Trey Ford one definitely did not.
I think it does. I hope he has.
Dan thinks there's going to be another knee.
Why not?
Okay, here's one that I think might actually happen. Lane, do you think the Argos can rush for at least 50 yards?
Yeah.
They've done this in back-to-back games pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
They got this.
What about net yards for the Argos at 325? I'll take that all day.
Oh, yeah.
That's easy. I don't know why Dan thinks Strevler is going to get 270 and the Argos only get 325 combined. Nick Arbuckle's got 6 straight games with over 300. And Edmonton's defense, much as it's been playing better, I think Arbuckle has always been good against Edmonton.
Here. I'm so confident. Where's that quarter? Put the quarter in it.
You don't even need a quarter to play on the Streakers app. Shove it up your pancreas. You don't need it.
I'll give it to John.
I was going to say you play your ear like the magic tricks when you're at a birthday party.
John may need a quarter.
Dan, are you taking the Elks to getting 4 sacks in this one? Man, you think Arbuckle's going to get banged up?
Well, I hope he doesn't. So I'm going to say no. But I mean, do you look at Jake Suezna, who won the Grey Cup with the Argos last year, a former Argo? I think he's had a quiet season. I think he's had a disappointing season. But I think you have a big game tonight. Well, Saturday night, whatever it is.
Saturday night's all right for fighting.
I get all the days mixed up in my head still. You know, we're recording 1:30 in the morning. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. So yeah, it's been a long day. But that's what I did. I did make these props at 4:30 in the morning on my way.
Let's get into the last game in the Canadian Football League, and this is the intriguing one for me. It's the Montreal Alouettes versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Roughriders can actually play playoff spot.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The reason why this is intriguing to me is because Montreal finally gets a quarterback back in McLeod Buffalo-Thompson. Now, okay, Lane, he is a lot better than James Morgan.
Captain Morgan. Captain did nothing.
I just melted into my seat. I'm sitting up now.
Okay, boys, I'm actually completely kidding with you. I think this game's going to be a blowout. I think the Rough Riders are going to destroy the
100%.
offense. I think the defense in Montreal's exhausted and pissed off. I think the offense, no matter who they put at quarterback, and now Sean Thomas Erlington's on the 6-game injured list, and Davis Alexander, they can't seem to move the ball downfield whatsoever. McLeod Bethel Thompson was terrible when he got hurt. I think this game's going to be pretty easy, and I think Montreal's going to be in a lot of trouble. And I think with a Saskatchewan win and an Edmonton loss and a BC loss, Saskatchewan is clinching their playoff spot already. Because that's what could happen, boys.
I agree.
Like, are we all just going to lock it in on the Streakers app that Montreal's going to get cooked?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Wait, Dan, come on, Dan. I'm expecting a crazy result from you. What do you mean you're sticking with Saskatchewan?
Okay, fine. You want crazy? I'll give crazy. I'll say Bethel Thompson's going to play the best game of the season.
Well, it wouldn't be that hard for him. We'd only have to throw for 206 yards.
Just say you'd have to throw for 10.
I did pick Ottawa over BC, which is pretty crazy. I did pick
Whoa, Dan.
Yes.
This is the first time we're going to bring up yes or less today.
Oh, no.
Lady set it to 63.
We think it's going to be a blowout.
But the Rough Riders aren't a real high-scoring team. I set this to 44, but I was going to do it. 63?
Yes, 63. I was going to wait to your reaction.
All right, Lane, are you taking 63?
Less.
Dan, come on. You can't be saying yes to 63.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Like, Trevor Harris is going to get a 400-yard game for once.
Okay, if it hits 63, I will, on stream, I will pour a bottle of water over my head.
Okay, let's go. 63.
If we can 63, I'll be on stream on the next episode. I will pour a whole bottle. I'll pour up a whole cup of water on my head.
As long as the viewers know, I learned the hard way not to dump water on the internet modem.
Oh my god,
that was a bad idea. So just because you were curious what would happen if you dump water on an internet modem, it's not a good idea.
Lane, here's one at Dan set that's interesting. Do you think there'll be a combined 3 interceptions?
That I could actually see.
I could see MBT throwing 2 and Harris maybe throwing 1.
63.
63.
That's not happening between those two.
What about a combined 4 sacks? I'm going to say no on that one, personally.
I could see it. I don't think it'll happen.
I would say yes to that one.
If you want to know the rest of those props, well, download the app and find out yourself. I'm not your maid. But that's the Canadian Football League. But now
I get paid to lead, not weed.
I want to jump back into baseball. And Lane, you have some very interesting stats about the J Series against the Baltimore Orioles.
There is some J props too.
Yeah, I was looking at it today. Of course, we're getting down to crunch time here, and it's getting closer and closer. I was just looking at the games remaining, and the Jays and the Yankees both have 16 games remaining. But funny enough, I actually didn't know this. The Jays actually technically have an extra game on the Red Sox. The Red Sox only have 15 games remaining. And, going into the series right now, they're 3 ahead of the Yankees, but 3.5 ahead of the Red Sox. Of course, that's the extra game. So if the Jays are able to win their next game, they get an extra game on the Red Sox. And funny enough, before we do get into it, I didn't know the Yankees are going to be facing the Red Sox. So that's going to be a huge series for us. If I'm having to lead, I definitely want the Red Sox to win the series. Because if you think about it, we already have a game in hand. So, if the Yankees can lose and the Jays can win, that'd be probably beneficial. Probably not going to happen. But that's what I'll be cheering for going into this series. But we got to talk about the series for the Birds. And I actually think the Blue Jays are going to come out successfully. I know they've not done well against Baltimore this season. It's been kind of a bumpy ride there, especially. But I think it's time the Jays turn this around here.
Oh, wow!
I changed Dan's name to Odd Prop Bob.
Okay, I like it.
But
I will say, speaking of my weird props, I predicted very early on the island when no one predicted the Jays would get 88 wins this year, and we're only 14 wins away. So if they can get 14 wins in 16 games. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think they're going to be too busy partying at the Pink Pony Club if that happens. But I will say this, though, what's interesting about the Red Sox, Lane, you need to add an extra half a game, basically, to each of those tallies, because the Jays won the season series against the Red Sox and the Yankees already, which means if it's a tiebreaker, the Jays take the tiebreaker. So it's like when the Yankees, they're 3.5 over Red Sox, 3 over the Yankees. It's actually like 3.5 over the Yankees, 4 over the Red Sox.
Well, that's only if you tie, though.
Yeah.
If you don't
so
tie,
what I'm saying is, even if the Yankees get 3 up on the Jays, it would be a tie, and the Jays would still take the season. Would still take the division.
True.
Same with the Red Sox.
But it would have to end in a tie. I'm just saying, like technically, yes.
Well, technically speaking, I need a haircut, but that's not the point.
Again. You just got your haircut.
I did not just get my hair.
Look, I have no hair. Look how you glow your hair so nice and luscious. And Lane's hair is always the perfect curls. Like, come on. I'm
so jealous. Curls get the girls, right?
That's right. Exactly.
I've never heard that saying ever, but sure.
I heard it from young Sheldon. So I'll admit that I've watched some young Sheldon in my life. So there you go.
Boy.
Now let's
get more night sports that night.
So let's get right into the Jays series coming up. And I'm jumping back into the Streakers Island podcast sports booth powered by Streakers Gaming. And that's why I'm on my cell phone, because I need to look at some of Dan's props. Now I'm going to take the Jays in the game.
Me too.
Who's pitching tomorrow? I want to see that.
Not Kevin Gausman. He's probably pretty
exhausted. Sure?
Yeah, I think so.
So, Dan, do you think the start? Actually, your Jays props are quite normal, which is kind
of sometimes they have to be normal, you know.
Will the Jays starter pitcher go at least 7 innings, Lane?
Let me see who it is for. Give me a minute. We got pitching tomorrow. Chris Bassett. Ooh.
No.
What was the prop? 7 innings?
7 innings. No, he'll go 6 1/3.
Yeah, I think he'll go 6.
What are you thinking, Dan?
Yeah, he's been struggling a bit. I'm going to go with 6, too.
We're facing a tough pitcher tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
Who's pitching for the Orioles?
Trevor Rogers with an 8-2 record, 151 ERA.
151. Wow.
I'm still taking the Jays in this game. I'm locking in my streaker pick for Blue Jays.
100%, me too.
I think the Jays, I've said it, this is a chance for the Jays to pull away in the division. They have a tough schedule, but this is an easier opponent, one of the very last easy opponents they have. Yeah. So they need to win this series. I'm calling for a broom.
Broom?
What?
Broom. Let's get a sweep, baby.
We haven't had a sweep in a couple months, so we're overdue.
Take the broom out of your pancreas.
Well, if they get the broom, you think they're going to hit 98 wins?
No. Elaine, are you also taking the Jays in this one, or do you think the Orioles are going to get it done if they're bringing in their ace pitcher?
No, the Jays have to win, man.
Dan?
Oh, I'm going Jays 100%.
And remember to jump into the sports booth to check out more and more of those awesome props. But I want to do something a little bit different here. And we all know the NFL is not just coming, it's here. It's here and it's now. And there are a lot of games on this Sunday. So, to be blunt, I don't feel like breaking down every single game. Because
at least you're honest.
And I'm lazy, as Dan likes to tell me. So, we are going to try something brand new called the Streakers Island Speed Run.
It's like speed dating.
So, powered by the Streakers Gaming app, we are going to quickly go through these games. What we're going to do, I'm going to say the game. We're all going to make our pick. And we're going to move on.
At the same time?
Yes.
But then,
why not? You know what we need first? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
We got our speed run music. Okay. Giants, Cowboys, 3,
Cowboys.
2, 1. Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Dan screwed it up. Seahawks. Steelers. 3, 2, 1.
Steelers.
Rams.
Aaron Rodgers, baby.
2, 1. Titans.
Rams.
Chargers.
Bills versus Jets in 3, 2, 1.
Bills.
Bills.
Patriots, Dolphins, 3, 2, 1. Who cares?
Patriots.
But I'm going with Patriots.
Patriots.
Sean's favorite team.
Jags versus Bengals, 3, 2, 1. Bengals.
Bengals.
We have really bad timing. Saints versus 49ers, 3, 2, 1. Saints.
49ers.
Saints.
Can't think.
49ers.
Just go. Browns versus Ravens, 3, 2, 1. Ravens.
Ravens.
Bears versus Lions, 3, 2, 1. Going with
Lions.
Lions.
Broncos country, let's ride. Colts, are they gonna die? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Broncos.
Colts.
Daniel Jones. Panthers versus Cardinals. 3, 2, 1. Panthers.
Cardinals.
Eagles versus Chiefs.
Whoa.
Who will they beat? 3, 2, 1.
Eagles.
Wowzers. Falcons. Vikings. 3, 2, 1. Falcons.
Vikings.
Broncos.
Vikings.
Texans. 3, 2, 1. Texans.
Texan, yeah.
Who are they facing again?
Broncos. Texans. Texans. Lane, make a decision. Broncos or Texans.
Broncos.
Ooh.
Last but not least, grab those cleats. It's the Chargers versus the Raiders. 3, 2, 1. Chargers.
Wait,
Thank
the
you
Broncos
for
are playing
playing.
twice?
Speed round streakers, where we go from the fans to the bleachers. Thank you for playing. Speed dating with streakers. Hope everyone enjoyed that brand new segment, and of course that will be posted to all the social medias. Speed run with streakers. Now, of course, if all these games, not every game's a dud, right? Some of these games, let's be honest, are more exciting than others. But yeah, I think this is a bad week. I want to talk more about the Eagles versus the Chiefs.
That'll be the game of the week for sure.
No,
I am surprised in Lane that he went Eagles.
Why?
Because the Chiefs are former Super Bowl champions not that long ago.
So
you really think the Chiefs are going to start their season 0-2?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
I hate the Chiefs, so I can't pick them. I will say this. I hate the Chiefs more than I hate the Ticats.
Whoa.
You know what? It's crazy. Like, out of all this, I never told the boys on down this. Out of all the sports that I thought, when I date a girl, I'm going to get her into sports. And the one sport that she took to was the NFL. Not hockey, not basketball. Well, she does like the Jays. Jay knows that. The one sport that I somehow got her into was the National Football League. And somehow she became a Chiefs fan. I bet you everyone will hate me because of that. I don't know how this happened, but I'm going to probably hear about her crying. But I think the Eagles will go 2-0. And this is not because I don't think Patrick Mahomes isn't good. So I know that's going to be like, Patrick Mahomes sucks. Well, that's just not true.
Mr. Daskell sleeping on the sofa.
Yeah.
Mr. Dashko's going to be my cuddle buddy.
Oh, there you go.
I just think that you look at this game. Unfortunately, Worthy's out. They don't have Rice. The two receivers are out. Kelsey, I don't know. He's thinking about his wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
The running back, I don't know what's going on with Pacheco. He was really good.
Yeah, that was weird.
He got that injury, and he has literally not been the same since. I don't know what's going on with that guy.
Yeah, I don't get it
Their
either.
defense is good, but they're going up against probably the best, at least the best running back, and probably the way better receiving core. I don't see how the Chiefs win this.
I think Philadelphia is a very underrated team. Everyone's like, oh, Philadelphia is not that good. Have they won the Super Bowl? No, I think Philadelphia is that good. I think Jalen Hurts is that good of a quarterback. I disagree with you, Jacob. I think he's right up there as a tier 1 quarterback. I don't think he's a highlight quarterback like Josh Allen and
Dan,
Mahomes.
Jalen Hurts is very good. He's not as good as Josh Allen.
And
Josh Allen is a one of a kind.
Lamar Jackson. He's not the highlight guy, but at the end of the day, he wins the games. He wins championships, and he's a franchise quarterback.
Not championships.
He won 2.
No, he won 1.
Wasn't he the quarterback last time? He was won like 18 or whatever.
No,
17?
that was Carson Wentz.
No, whatever.
But I think this will be the best. I'll be honest. I don't know if you guys agree. None of the other games, like obviously, I'm always happy to watch my Bills. None of the other games, when I'm looking at them, aren't really screaming off the page.
Yeah, like the Bills.
It sounds dumb. Maybe the Patriots versus Dolphins to see like which team is less poop.
Yeah, I know. That's a game we could see maybe 9-6.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
well, I will say though, like Lane has gone on that he thinks Tua is it could be a top tier quarterback. So Lane, do you think the Dolphins turn it around this week?
No, I didn't say he could be. I said he should have been without the.
Yeah,
I'd say he could be. We know
but
he's
do you
not
think
going.
The Dolphins will? I can't remember from our speed dating because I'm sorry, Lane. You were just so dashing that I guess got lost in your eyes.
I took John's team.
You took the Patriots, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't think that? Do you think that? So if the Dolphins fall 0-2, do you think Tyreek demands a trade?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Who wants him? Who is willing to put up with his beat? Don't say Buffalo.
Buffalo Bills.
Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
And Green Bay. And there's this team, I don't know if you heard of them. They're called the Green Bay. There's a game
I would say the Commanders.
Yeah.
That's a good choice, too.
Also, maybe the Chiefs.
Yeah, I could actually see.
Could you imagine Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill reuniting in Kansas City?
You united, and it feels so good.
I mean,
but let's be honest, this is a week for the NFL. I think will be a bit of a snooze.
Okay, Jacob, before we continue, though, seriously.
Aaron Rodgers, 2-0.
What are you smoking, picking the Panthers over the Cardinals?
I was wondering about that, too.
Well, number one, I don't smoke or vape because I'm a.
I think you do. I think you've.
Mr. Dasco and I smoke some good cigars sometimes.
That's terrific knowledge. Honestly, it's just a gut feeling that I think the
Bryce
Panthers.
Young is so bad, man.
Well,
so bad.
I mean, they were pretty poop in their season.
They're always poop.
But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't think Bryce Young is as bad as his stats.
I do.
Figure it out at some point.
I don't know. I tried.
I'll be honest. I have more faith in Bryce Young than I do in the Jags of Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is cooked.
Yeah,
I think
that's another one. Is clear. This
focus on getting his hair done right to make then playing football.
Now there's actually going to be.
He made his money.
This might sound crazy to you guys. I actually think because of the injury. I think the 49ers, it's going to be a boring game. I think the 49ers and Saints could be interesting because the 49ers
I like that game too.
They won't Christian McCaffrey or Brock Purdy. They might get
who's their backup in?
I think it's Trey Lance. I could be wrong, but
okay. But if it is Trey Lance,
let me check.
The other game I thought that this thing was Joe Flacco's team.
It's Mac Jones.
Well,
not Joe Flacco.
Dan, the Browns are going to get their asses kicked by the Ravens.
I don't know. I think that game could be closer.
No.
Not Joe Flacco. You know who I'm talking about, the quarterback.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
It's not Joe Flacco. What's his name?
His name is Joe Flacco.
No, I'm thinking of another one.
No, you're
Starts
not.
with a B. Barrows. Where's Barrows?
What? Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bengals will beat the Jags. That wouldn't be close.
Yeah.
You know actually is going to be a good game. Maybe we skipped over. I think this game actually will be good. Seahawks versus Steelers.
Yeah, that's what I said. Aaron Rodgers
actually might be the game of the week.
Yeah, I can see that too. We're both really good teams.
You're going to have Aaron Rodgers, who's not going to show up. Sam Darnold, who's terrified of being sacked. Low-scoring snooze fest.
Yeah, we got Cooper Kupp.
That's going to be a shootout, bro.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I'm calling it. Aaron Rodgers under 200 yards. Damn, put that in the sports booth for me.
Nah, B.
Aaron Rodgers, well, then put it in so you can challenge me, you dope.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers under 200 yards against the Seahawks. He was so pumped up to play the Jets. Now he's not going to care.
No,
I actually like this team. Like the Seahawks.
Do you, Lane?
I like the Seahawks too. That was actually a tough decision.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. Like last of one game I really had to think about because I really like both teams. But I think Aaron Rodgers is on a tree hunting with Chief High. And I think he's going to go 2-0, baby.
Najiba, you got Najiba, yeah. I said his name right.
I don't know. I just still look at this week. Hopefully I'm wrong and we get some really exciting NFL games. I want to watch good NFL football on Sunday and Monday. So hopefully, because I mean the Monday games don't look great either with the Buccaneers and Texans and Chargers versus Raiders.
I still pick the Buccaneers.
They're not really overly exciting games, but it's time for us to wrap up the show. And Dan, I know
got one more interesting topic I wanted to get in earlier, but I know I interrupt your beautiful flow, Jacob. So we don't have to talk about it for hours, but it's something I learned today. Wayne mentioned I am in school. I don't want to admit that, but here I am. And trying to keep that quiet. But anyway, here we go. I learned this very interesting topic when I was in school. The San Diego Spurs, some state. So they're a basketball team. The Spurs, whatever the Spurs play in basketball, okay? They started this new trend, and if it goes well, I think a team like the Argos could adapt to it, and I think other teams could adapt to it. So we all know with the Raptors of Nav Bavia and the Superfan, right? Very cool story. So they look at it, they want to increase attendance, and not just attendance, they want to increase fan engagement, and they want to make their arena more exciting, more loud. So they are doing a trial auditions for the top 3,000 craziest super fans. And fans have to go in and audition and see how they dress in jerseys and how loud they are and how they cheer, blah, blah, blah. And if you get picked out of these 3,000, you're going to get seated in a special selection. You're going to get tickets to 75% of the home games, as well as some tickets to away games. And then you're going to get special perks like VIP perks, like meeting the players and custom swag and all this cool stuff. And if you get selected, it's a membership fee of $999. I'm curious what you guys think of this. I think it's a really cool idea. I'm really curious to see if it takes off. And I'm curious what you guys think.
I like it. I think trying to get like a dedicated super fan area is a great idea.
I'd be great at that.
Personally, though, I see that more not so much for like the Argos, but more for like the Leafs, more of a corporate crowd to try to pump some energy into the crowd. Mm-hmm. I could see that for like Leafs. I could see that for Jays because again, they're very corporate. Yeah. I'd love to see some super crowds in some of these quieter sporting venues. And Lane, I agree, you would be perfect for that.
Yeah. You got the passing, bud.
And the power.
Yeah, that's right.
And the dashingness.
Yeah.
But
John Cena.
But Dan, that's very interesting, and it will be interesting to see if more teams try that. I know they do that in soccer with like the super fan area.
Right.
So maybe you'll see something similar in other sports.
And with FIFA coming to North America next year, there's a lot of hype behind FIFA, a lot of interest in soccer, and soccer is a very unique sport in how they do things. I think we're going to see leagues like the NBA, CFL, the NHL taking pages out of the soccer books as we're here next year in North America. So it's to be interesting.
For sure. But I do want to end the show on a little bit of a different note than we normally do. I know, Dan, you normally do, and obviously you can piggyback off this with me with our island mindset for today. When we started recording this, because it was before midnight, it was September 11th.
Yes.
And as everyone knows, September 11th was a very sad day when there was the attack on the Twin Towers in America.
Yeah.
A lot of people passed away, people in the building, firefighters and police officers trying to save lives, hero dogs trying to save lives.
Yeah.
And, so many people we know were affected by 9/11.
Oh, for sure.
So I wanted to end the show, unless, Dan, there's anything you wanted to add about that, just with 9/11.
Well, I gotta say exactly what you said. You nailed it perfect, Jacob. And I give you so much respect. Normally I come up with the mindset, but Jacob's like, no, this is important and we have to talk about it. And I give you a lot of credit for doing that. We are seeing people on Instagram posting stories of 9/11, which is fantastic. But I remember when 9/11 right happened a year right after, it was almost like a Remembrance Day or Veterans Day in the States. There was like a moment of silence everywhere, and everyone was talking about it. And then the stores and the communities were talking about it. And this year, you're not seeing it the same way, Like, you're not seeing, like when I was in school today, they didn't have a presentation or moment of silence. And okay, maybe you're not going to have a presentation, but you could have a moment of silence for it. I really think it deserved that. And I get what we said about political and controversy, Canada and America, but these are innocent lives taken here. And I don't care if it was 24 years ago. Oh, yeah, I think it's 24 years ago now. Yeah, I think for the next 100 years, I think we have to remember these people and remember for lives. And we have to remember to keep talking about it so it doesn't happen again. And, of course, just a quick little shout-out I want to give to. We did see the news of what happened in the last 48 hours down in the States with the assassination. And just want to say quickly, regardless what side you believe in, you don't want to see death in any side here. No one should die because of freedom of speech and what they have to say. So regardless if you agree or disagree, don't wish people dead here.
But let's just end the show off with a moment of silence for all the victims from 9/11. I do want to say thank you very much for watching 100%. The episode. But we're just going to end it tonight. No extra, no rock and roll music.
Yeah.
Just a very simple moment of silence. And thank you very much for watching the Streakers Island podcast.
Yeah.